I'm actually afraid to do today's video. I don't know why. My heart is beating, but I feel it's good that we speak about this. In today's video, we're going to talk about the influencer creative space in Kenya and things you need to know. This would be a video that's helpful for anyone who is trying to become an influencer or who just wants to understand how the landscape is. And also, I don't want to ruffle some feathers, although I'm here already shaking tables with this video, but I'm going to talk about the influencer space and the truth about creative influencer space and brands and all that good stuff. I'm going to do the sandwich method of giving a pro, a con, a pro, and a con, and also my thoughts. So I'm going to start with a good thing, of course. The pro is that the industry is really growing and influencer marketing is becoming a big thing in Kenya. We see many brands working with more creatives, and it's very refreshing to see that. I can tell you for a fact, when I got started working in the wine business in 2013 and also in travel, it wasn't as defined as it is. In fact, people were just trying to craft their path and continue creating content, but we didn't even know how to make money. In fact, most creators who started early will tell you for a fact that they did not even monetize their brands that early enough, because this is something that really just came to be established the last few years, especially in Kenya. The con, the disadvantage is that brands sometimes want you to work for free. Well, this is not all brands. There are brands that actually pay people, but it's very annoying as a creator when somebody wants you to work for free. This is something I've sung, I've written about, I've talked about, like exposure doesn't pay bills, and I don't think I'll even continue saying about that here. But people use a lot of energy and use a lot of their skills and their expertise. Sometimes I even see the work that goes into producing like YouTube videos. For example, a lookbook, sometimes you have to hire a photographer, you have to hire the space, you also have to buy the clothes that you're showcasing. So all those things, and then somebody wants you to work for free. It's a really slap in the face especially if you're in the like fashion space. And also in all industries, somebody may come and tell you, oh, I want you to do this video of us, I want you to do this amazing travel video, but we don't have the budget, we don't have the money to pay you right now. So it's up to the creator to decide, are you willing to work pro bono? Maybe you're new, you want to just get started and build your networks. But if you're established, most people I know don't work for free unless they really believe in a brand. And you know what's funny though? What's funny is when a brand comes with a long list of deliverables, like 10 of them, like you have to post on Instagram, you have to post on Twitter, you have to bring me the blood of your firstborn, you have to do this, you have to bring me the moon, you have to do all this. And all they are offering is exposure. And then it's also even laughable when when you have more followers than the brand themselves and they still claim to bring you exposure. Well, that's a story for another day, but that's a con. Beware when you're getting started. Not all brands, some brands. The other advantage or the other pro that I've seen is that some brands actually have influencer budgets, and that's very refreshing to see. The way they have marketing budgets, the way they have like placements in newspapers, they have started pushing more things for influencers. Like this is the influencer package. I've gone to so many pitches where people are looking to work with influencers and a budget has been set, and that's so good. One thing I like is when a brand sends you an email, hi Jean, we want to work with you. We want you to post us on your social media. This is the much we're willing to offer. If this works for you, let us know. That's my kind of pitch, because that way I can decide, this is the budget. I can decide, okay, no, I want to negotiate more, or I want to take this budget that they've given me. So I love that. The types of engagements I hate are, hi Jean, we love what you're doing. Can you come at our office and we discuss? And then when you get there, they're like, okay, so you're here already, so we're trying to do ABCD. What do you think you can do if you're in our shoes? You give them all these strategies and then they implement it without you. Be wise. Anyway, one thing I'm really happy about is that most brands, okay, not most, but some brands have really set up a budget for influencers. So it's really nice that they already have packages, they already have product as well for influencer marketing. Some brands as well have like trips and press trips and all that. They have press packages. So it's good to see that brands are no longer ignoring the fact that creatives can push the product. So that's very good. And it's not just in product, even in services. You You might be given a trial to maybe like do an Audible subscription, and they give it to you for free for a few months for only to talk about it, and that I feel is a win-win situation. Some people do not like being paid in product. I don't like being paid with product. I feel like it depends what is the product, what's the service, so it all depends from brand to brand. The other problem is that brands use the same faces. I know it sounds derogatory, but I'm really happy for them as the creatives. I mean, at the end of the day, as a creative, you want to score more brand deals. But some of the things that maybe niche influencers or micro influencers like me face is when a brand maybe doesn't want to work with you because you're not the one of the top 10 or the big people. We see a case whereby if you're in lifestyle, you get a lot of brand deals because you kind of cut across everything. You can talk about shoes, you can talk about clothes, you can talk about coffee, you can talk about wine, you can talk about so many things. So that kind of is a con. I think it's a pro on the influencers part, who is in like lifestyle niche. That is a pro on their part, but for us, for nano and micro influencers, that's actually a con because you feel so bad. For example, I have gone to places, or I have been told that, oh Jean, we did this pitch and your name came up and we were trying to see whether we could work with this influencer or work with a media personality or somebody who has a following already, but we decided to go with the later because they have an audience, and in as much as you really know a lot about wine and you can really push the product, we feel like your numbers are very low and their numbers are very high. And I don't blame the brand. At the end of the day, numbers never lie. I don't have those big numbers. I'm okay with the numbers that I have because I know they convert. However, I feel like the bigger an influencer get, the more diluted their audience becomes. I don't know whether it's just me but yeah, at the end of the day, those are things you really need to know as a small influencer, and I'll be doing a subsequent video giving advice for small influencers and what you need to do. So that's definitely a con for small influencers because you'll be overlooked and other people will be taken despite how good you have niched down, despite how amazing and how well you have crafted your work. Sometimes it feels bad when you're doing, you could be the best placed person to talk about like a certain wine. For example, let me just use my example. Somebody like maybe is talking about wine, and when consumers ask them questions, they don't know anything. Yet I am here, I could give some good commentary. I know my stuff in that area. So yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I had to maybe move from the niche that I really love, which is wine and travel. This is just the truth. I had to like sort of diversify. The other day I was asking on Twitter about whether you need to diversify your audience so that you can attract more, especially on like YouTube. Do I need to have a channel where I'm showing you my everyday life, my everything, like a one like channel which talks about everything? Today I'm talking about shoes, tomorrow I'm talking about fashion, the next day I'm talking about juice, the next day I'm cooking, the next day I'm traveling, the next day I'm telling you about digital marketing, the next day I'm talking about bicycles and cars. And so I was wondering, which strategy is better, diversify or specialize? Let me know your thoughts down below because that is something that I have faced. However, I chose to like maybe have two niches, which is wine and also digital marketing, working online and all that good stuff that I talk about. And I feel like that really like sort of opens me up to more networks work-wise and also to more like my passion. Wine is actually my passion. I have been trying to monetize this thing for the longest time, but the money just trickles in. It's not like how this other thing like brings money. So that's one thing you have to think about as an influencer, or I hate the word influencer. So yeah, you get to see people who are not in that niche doing campaigns, speaking about products that maybe they don't understand, people pushing cameras but they don't even understand features. Like I would not come here and sell you a car because I don't know a lot about cars. There are already people who are talking about cars. I believe people have different niches that they talk about, but at the end of the day, it's okay. And I believe what's for you will not pass you. What's for you is for you. And I stopped feeling bad because I diversified my portfolio and like I stopped relying on that one thing to bring money. The next thing you need to know, which is actually a good pro, is that the market is really engaged and they call out BS easily. They really call out BS. If yesterday you were telling us about a brand A and today you're telling us about brand B, and you're saying you've been using brand B for 10 years or since you were born, people will remind you, aren't you the one who was speaking about this? People can see through the lies. People can know when you've just taken a check and don't know about the product. But the market is really aware and people know their stuff, and people don't forget. One thing I know is that the internet never forgets. People will really call you out if you're not bringing the right information. So the consumer is educated. They want to know about the products they're consuming, especially like in the health sector or in the lifestyle sector. People are really curious about customer service, so you cannot come and really push a product and then later you're not really helping people out. People will really call you out. And one thing I love about social media is that anyone can write about a product, so people can really share their feedback about a product. Even if you have been given a lot of money to say that a product is nice, but people, let's go back to the lotion. You've been given a 10,000 check to say that, oh yeah, I tried this product, it's amazing, but then the market knows that this product is not good, this lotion is not good for my skin, it burns, it does this. So you cannot lie to people. But anyway, everyone has different experiences with products and services, so to each his own. But one thing I really love is that people are not being taken for fools. Another con is that as a micro influencer, you really take a lot of time to grow. You really get passed on, like I don't know whether that's the right preposition, but you really get, people pass you for other bigger people. And growing through the sea of so much content nowadays, everybody's an influencer. Anybody can go to Twitter, start an account, have your 20k and become a social media guru, become a social media influencer. I don't know why I did air quotes. So the problem is that starting out now might be hard, but if you have good content, if you're consistent, if you have your good networks, and if you align yourself well, you will really grow. So it might not be overnight as it was back then. You could just create content because not many people are creating, but now you have to really think hard and you have to really set yourself apart. And also there's a debate of whether which is better, micro influencer or macro influencer or nano influencer. So at the end of the day, you know where the market that you want to occupy, get your people. It doesn't matter if it's 200 people. I did a video about how to grow with 200 people and how to give an impact with only 200 people. So sometimes 200 might be better than a diluted 2000. The other pro is that sometimes influencers have these amazing groups that they form within themselves, and they discuss amongst themselves the rate, like how much were you paid for this post, how much were you paid for this travel post, how much were you paid by this hair brand. So sometimes they discuss amongst themselves and they can be able to negotiate for a higher amount. However, not everyone is open to talking about how much they earn or how much they were paid by a brand. But if you have friends who are in the influencer space, make it open, try to talk about these things. Sometimes it all depends with who it is, because some people are malicious, some people are really nice. So you have to know how you navigate these waters. But I've loved that people really speak amongst themselves. I don't know whether this is a pro and a con, because you can see like a group of friends being given one job. Well, not everyone in that group is really worthy for that campaign. But I guess it's a pro to one person and a con to the other. So I really love the close-knit sort of organizations that people are creating. Somebody posted this funny thing on Twitter, which I thought was hilarious. In as much as I don't 100% agree with it, I believe that influencers should definitely come together and negotiate for higher rates. Instead of trying to compete among themselves and hating each other and speaking smack about each other, they should come together and grow together, do collaborations. And you can see on my channel, I've been really doing collaborations a lot, because I believe growing alone might take you years, yet it's something that can take you 1 year to grow with people. The other con is something I've seen is that the price when compared to global prices is very low. In established markets, you can see that influencers can be able to say that this is what I do full-time. I know so many YouTubers who do that as their full-time job. They live their dream lives and they make tons of money. They're buying houses, buying property, investing so much. So it really pains me when I see that we really have a long way to go in Kenya. However, I believe like some brands are really trying to up that, and also we also have to look at our audience. How many people are we serving? Demographics are different. There's so many differences between the two markets. So I really understand why here people are not paid as much as they are. In fact, there is another influencer who moved to Kenya, and she was talking about how she was so shocked that Kenyan brands are paying her so low, and she was just willing to walk away because this is not money that she was used to being paid when she was abroad. That's how life is. And another problem is that there's always somebody willing to work for free. You might go to a brand and tell them that this is what I have, this is my rate card, amazing grades, and even you have even slashed your prices, but there will be somebody else who says, you know what, yeah, I can work for free, and so they'll pick the free person over you. But I believe at the end of the day, be willing to walk away. If somebody is not meeting your value and you have negotiated and you have even lowered your price and they're still not willing to meet your value, walk away. It's fine. Somebody else will do it. It wasn't meant for you, and that's life. You get passed over, people get your opportunity, but I believe what is for you is for you. I think growing up and turning 30 has really given me wisdom, because I know that what's for me will not pass me, and that's a good mentality to have. Another mentality I've also adopted is not relying on this one thing, like it's your end all be all. I know this is no way to shun anyone who is like is having that as a full-time job. I tried that, it didn't work for me. I really wasn't getting the money. I tried to monetize for a whole 2 years, trying to monetize my craft, trying to monetize this whole blogging, creative, whatever thing, and it didn't work for me. So I decided to do something else and do this like occasionally on the weekends on the side. So yeah, I mean, that has sort of taken the pressure off it, but then that's a story for another day, because the con is that I don't focus much attention to make it grow, and then anyway guys, that's just how it is with me. The other pro is influencers are really going out of their way to up their content. You know, the content we used to make 5 years ago does not fly anymore. You know, there are all these new platforms. There's IGTV, there's TikTok, there's all these amazing YouTube videos, and I've even noticed that the way I edit videos, I really need to upgrade. So it's really refreshing to see that creatives themselves are going out of their way, doing shoots, you know, creating amazing photography, traveling the world, upgrading their gear and doing so much and upping their content. That's really nice to see that people are actually doing that, and the level of the content has also grown, and it's also forcing creators to think and innovate and be creative, and as a whole the industry also grows. So I think that's really a nice thing that's happening in the Kenyan influencer space. The other one is a con. I think it's a pro and a con. This one I didn't know whether it was a pro and a con, but maybe you can let me know down below. Is the fact that celebrities are now influencers. So you see musicians becoming influencers, you see like media personalities becoming influencers, and so obviously they'll get the gigs because they have viewership from maybe their stations, for maybe their years of working on their craft. I feel that the reason why I said this could be a pro and a con, it depends with the perspective and who is looking at it. If I am a media personality and now I also have a new avenue of making cash, which is influencer marketing, and I have my job, at the end of the day, that's a pro for me. However, me as a creator might be passed on, or I might be, I don't know what's the right word to use, I might be kupitwa. I might be passed over, and they will pick obviously the celebrity. At the end of the day, it's all about numbers, and have this mentality that keep improving your craft. There will be that one brand that will see you. Even I, as a niche influencer, I've worked with really nice brands, and my blog has taken me places I'd never dream of going. My blog is somewhere in the corner of the internet. It's a small wine blog, but it's taken me to places, and I am so grateful. I am so thankful about that. Anyway guys, those are my tips, and one thing I really want to say is that if you're an influencer, make sure you're really not selling yourself out just for the coin. I know times are hard out there, but don't sell your soul to just or don't get your small check to come lie to people or promote things that, you know, really don't make offense for people or are harmful for people. And also brands, please stop expecting people to work for free. Sometimes I do understand sometimes people can work pro bono if they're getting something else in return, but at the end of the day I feel like it needs to be a win-win, and just try and respect the work that people do. Guys, remember to like, subscribe, share this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Bye.